So hello everybody. I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Living United with Nashua Business. This is a television show where we like to talk with local businesses who are growing, innovative, and also very much community involved. Organizations that like to give back and build a stronger community. So I'm really excited today to have with me a colleague of mine who I've known for several years, Nicole Otis. Nicole is the owner of In the Mix Mobile Bartending Solutions. I think that's the title. Is that right, Nicole?
That's perfect, Mike.
Okay, perfect. And of course, we've known each other for a while, and we'll talk about some of the ways you get involved with the community in a little while. But in the meantime, Nicole, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you as well. I think we've been cooking this one up for quite a while.
Yes.
So for starters, why don't we just talk a little bit about your business? What is it that you do? What is a mobile bartending service? What is In the Mix? Share with us a little bit about, how you, what the products and services are that you offer.
All right. So In the Mix, like it is, mobile bartending business. A lot of people have events outside of your typical restaurant, bar, or venue that provides bartending services. So we bring the bar to you.
Yeah.
We have a bunch of different options depending on your needs. We can just bring bartenders to your party. We also have...
So somebody can provide their own alcohol and whatnot, and you just provide the servers and probably the insurance that goes along with it.
That's right. We are fully licensed and insured, so we have that going for us.
Yep.
If you do choose to bring your own alcohol or beverages, we're by your side the whole time.
Yep.
So we talk about the menu, the creation process, maybe if you want any signature cocktails, and kind of fit the theme, the vision of your vibe for your party. We create a quantities guide for you, depending on how many drinkers you have, how many non-drinkers you have, the size of your party, and how long it is. We let you know exactly how much you should bring so that everybody's happy and we don't run out of anything. But then with our liquor license, we also have the opportunity to bring the beverages to you. So we're a beverage catering service as well.
Now, is all of the work that you do in the state of New Hampshire, or do you cover other states as well? I'd imagine the liquor license and the insurance must be somewhat state specific.
Yes, the liquor license is in New Hampshire, but we are able to go across all of New England. Each state has its own laws and specific rules that you can do to have a party in certain areas, whether they be private or public. So we help with doing the research with that and finding out exactly what it is that you need in order to make your party a reality.
So what's the furthest away that you've actually gone?
Oh, we've done Connecticut, Maine, Vermont. We do a lot in New Hampshire and Massachusetts.
So really the entire region.
Yeah, basically all of New England. We're here to serve you.
That's fantastic. We're here to serve you. I like that. That's actually literally what you're here to do.
That's right.
So now one of the things I actually wanted to ask you about before I forget is about the changing landscape of liquor consumption. It's such a cultural thing, right? And if we looked at, 100 years ago, half the drinks that we have nowadays didn't exist. But what does exist now is becoming more of a thing is the mocktail. So we've talked about that a little bit. That's, people are not necessarily drinking as much alcohol, but they want to still have the social aspect of drinking and having a drink in their hand at an event. Tell us about your mocktails. Is that a big thing?
It is. It has become a big thing, especially in the last year.
Yeah.
We are big on mocktails. So usually what we do is we'll come up with a cocktail that can be a mocktail or a cocktail. And then we allow you to add the option of, put the alcohol in it. But nowadays they have so many different options. So they have alcohol removed wine.
Well, I guess I'll tell you about that. So alcohol removed wine is something I've had a lot of experience with lately because of, the truth is I've been on some medications. I couldn't drink wine for a while, any alcohol at all. And I found the non-alcoholic wines to be awful, so terrible. Have you found good wines that are non-alcoholic?
I have, yeah. It's definitely a game that you have to play. There are so many different brands out there. And there are a lot of different places. You can get them at the grocery store or at the beer store here locally in Nashua. But you just have to play around. Some people really like certain brands that aren't my favorite, and then I find the ones that I like. But they also have alcohol removed liquor as well.
Yeah, okay.
But that's not the same as kind of like putting it on the rocks and sipping it.
Sure.
It has a little bit of a bite, but most of those are for mixing with different sodas and garnishes like we do.
So if you want a little bit of that tequila taste in your margarita, but you don't want necessarily the alcohol, that's not
exactly. And then you're also not just drinking straight up lime juice or sour mix, right? So you kind of like shake it up, and it gives it more of that alcohol feel.
I do know the non-alcoholic beers are fantastic.
Don't they taste just like beer?
Yeah, absolutely. Totally amazing. Absolutely.
It blows my mind.
That's why I was so surprised that I couldn't find, especially I'm a red wine drinker, and I couldn't find a good Cabernet, at all. So maybe we'll talk offline.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm sure I should have asked you about this 3 months ago.
I know. I almost brought a bottle with me here, but I wasn't sure exactly how the setup was going to be.
Yeah.
But they have a bunch of different brands. They also sell it at like Whole Foods and like Home Goods and stuff. But Free is a really good one that I like.
Okay.
F-R-E.
I'll watch for that.
Yeah.
So tell me about some of your more recent events, just to give paint a picture for people about, really truly what is the type of thing that you get yourself involved with?
So this weekend, for example,
this weekend.
Yeah. Well, let's just talk about this weekend. So this past weekend, we had an outdoor birthday party by the poolside. So we did frozen strawberry daiquiris. We had signature cocktails for the birthday girl with all of the bells and whistles. We have the special garnishes and rims.
Yeah.
I'm also a huge fan of the edible glitter to spice things up.
Glitter in general just gives me the heebie-jeebies, but
it stays in the drink.
Okay, that's fine.
But it really just makes the drink shine.
Interesting.
And people love it.
Yeah.
We also did a baby shower, which was really sweet. So we had a mocktail and a cocktail.
Okay.
That was the color for the baby to be. And then we also...
So like pink or blue?
It was pink. Good guess.
Nice. Okay.
It was pink. We did a pink gin fizz.
Yeah.
And then we did a cucumber mojito mocktail.
Wow.
That we added
that sounds delicious.
Color to. It was. Yeah. It was so delicious.
Yeah.
It was a hit. I think we might have done more of that than the actual cocktail itself.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
And then we also had a 25th wedding anniversary for a Spanish couple in Manchester.
Okay. So do you do a lot of events with the Hispanic community?
We do, actually. So I'm lucky that I'm bilingual. I learned to speak Spanish.
Oh, do you want to share something for our Spanish audience, Spanish-speaking audience?
To.
Please go ahead.
All right. Hola a las damas y caballeros. Solo quiero compartir que In the Mix Bartending Service está aquí a la orden. Si tiene un evento que necesito servicios de bartender, puede ser una boda, una fiesta aniversario, hacemos quinceañeras mucho, podemos encontrarles un venue donde podemos hacerlo y hablar sobre las diferentes cócteles que podemos servirles.
I actually understood that.
Good way to go.
I do Duolingo every single day, and I had a couple of years of Spanish, and I've been to Latin America a number of times. So it's not horrible. It's not good, but I couldn't have said that, but I did understand it.
Perfect.
Very
That's
nice.
the first step.
Where did you learn your Spanish?
So I studied it in school, but I was in the Peace Corps.
Yeah.
I lived in Guatemala for 3 years, and that's really where
fantastic.
I perfected my Spanish.
That's fantastic.
Yes.
What a great experience that must have been.
It was such a good experience. I love volunteering.
Mm-hmm.
When I came back from the Peace Corps, I joined AmeriCorps right here in Nashua.
Okay, so were you like a Vista?
I was a Vista
who did you serve with?
Positive Street Art.
Fantastic. So my friends Manny and Cecilia.
Yes, exactly.
Awesome.
We worked together to roll out the youth workshop program. We raised a bunch of money so that they could do, dancing for the community. We bussed some kids over from the local elementary schools so Manny could teach them how to do graffiti.
That's so great.
And artwork. It was so much fun.
That's fantastic. Now, you do a lot of volunteering. I know you're very busy, though. I mean, you're an entrepreneur, and you are building a mobile bartending empire, because you have grown so much in the short amount of time that we've known each other. It seems like it's just gangbusters, especially coming out of the pandemic, which must have been pretty hard for a while. But everybody wants to have their events now.
Yes. Yeah, we were lucky out of the pandemic.
Yeah.
The few weddings that we did after the fact had all of the napkins that had the date for the wedding beforehand. So we were quiet for a little while, putting together, we did gift baskets like with alcohol in it
nice.
that we tried to do in the meantime when we couldn't have events. But we're lucky that we're back into the full swing of things.
Yeah, absolutely. You've done at least a couple events that I've been at. I know that you were kind enough to provide your services at a business after hours that I did with Franklin Savings Bank and United Way. I don't know how long ago, like 6 or 9 months ago. Mm-hmm. And that was fantastic. You were great. And it was you personally that were there.
Thank you.
We appreciate that. I got to see you in action. So
yes,
terrific.
We love working in the community.
Yeah.
We do a lot of after parties or like employee appreciations for local businesses here in the community.
How many employees do you have now?
Well, most of our bartenders are subcontractors.
Sure.
I do have 2 employees, but I think there's about a dozen of us on the team that make In the Mix run.
And are you looking for more employees all the time, I imagine, or?
We're always looking for new, fresh faces, the energy that we bring in. Every time I meet somebody new and I get that vibe, I'm like, come on to the team. We can always use that positivity.
Fantastic. Okay. Now, volunteering-wise, I did want to talk about that a little bit because you also with United Way have been just a really active volunteer. You participated in Over the Edge a couple of years ago.
Yes.
And so how was that for you? You actually did rappel and off the building, and you also, I think, one year helped out as a volunteer.
Yes. Over the Edge was such a fun event. I love doing that. I am afraid of heights, but
me too.
anything that I can do to give back to the community, I'm game for. It was a really fun time. I appreciate the invitation.
Well, so how was that for you, being afraid of heights and doing this? I mean, standing on the top of that 300-foot high building, that must have been a little terrifying.
It was, and it was really windy right before I rappelled, so we had to wait a little bit.
And you're not huge, so I mean, with me, if it's a little windy, it's okay. It's no big deal. But
I was backing away from the building a little bit, but I just took a deep breath, waved to the crowd, and there was, this really sweet old man who did it before me. He had to have been in his 80s, and I was like, if he can do it, I can do it.
So you were right before Bill.
Yes.
Fantastic. Yeah,
he was super sweet.
He was great. He was our old Bill Rogers. Did you know he actually helped to build that building?
I did not know that.
Yeah, he was a member of the Steel Workers.
Wow.
Originally down in New York City, worked skyscrapers down there. And then he and his wife moved up here to New Hampshire, and he was actually one of the steel workers that helped build that specific building.
It's amazing and impressive.
Yeah, I always think of those pictures that you see, the old time pictures where there's like a guy eating his lunch on these steel
on the metal
beams.
bar hanging above.
Yeah, with like 800 feet down. And you're like, oh, that's not for me. That's for sure.
Oh, my goodness.
And then last year, you participated in our karaoke, our inaugural karaoke event. You were on my team.
Yes, I couldn't have had a better teammate.
You have a great voice.
Oh my gosh, thank you. It's from all the karaokeing downtown.
Well, I got to tell you, it's not because, maybe you have a great voice compared to standing next to me, because I have an awful voice. But we were great. We had so much fun.
So much fun. I can't wait to do it again this year.
Well, should we tell them what we're doing?
Yeah, go for it.
So we're going to be my team, your team. We're going to be doing Devo, Whip It, and we're going to sort of like give it the United Way spin. So instead of like the original video, if you watch it, it's a little bit like, that seems a little sketchy. But this version is going to be like Whip It, whip poverty, whip it, whip homelessness, whip it, whip, illiteracy, and all the themes of our, our organization.
The Nashua remix.
Absolutely. So we need some teammates though.
We do. I've already had some people contact me that are interested. So
fantastic. Do you do other events, other nonprofit type of things that you get involved with?
Yes. So I've done different walks for other charities. We've done one for the Easter Seals.
Oh, wonderful. Was that up in Manchester?
It was.
Fantastic.
It was in Manchester. Yes.
Yeah.
And then we also love to help out with fundraisers in the community.
Yeah.
So we've done fundraisers for the chamber. We do a lot of the events over at St. Joseph's Hospital when they have events that happen over there.
Yeah.
And then another event that we did was I'm like, oh, I just blanked.
Oh, that's okay. It's so much though.
I know. Oh, we did a positive street art event. So they did
Yeah.
a fashion show. And so we came up with this obscure cocktail for them. And then we donated a portion back to positive street art.
That's so great. So you're having fun with it.
Yes. And then there are other different organizations around the area that will do golf tournaments or raise money for other charities. We always try to get involved with that. So we've sponsored different holes. And got our names. We've done things with the music school in the area. And yeah, just anyway, anybody who asks us to give back, I'm right on it.
That's fantastic. I love that so much. You know, it's hard in the beginning when you're starting up a new business. You're so busy. I think the first year or two, you're kind of, you know, just in survival mode. But then you reach that point and you're like, you know, I think I got something here. And how can I help to support my community through this? And that's what you're doing.
Yes.
Which is great. So I'm going to ask you then to think about what's next and what's way next. So, you know, what do you think the next year looks like in the mix? Is it just more of the same, just more of the same? Or is there something, you know, coming down the pike? And if you would say, look into your vision 10 years from now, what does your business look like?
Oh, man. Well, normally, when we started with In the Mix, it was basically wedding focused, and we only did events on the weekends and weddings. But now we're trying to kind of edge our way more into the corporate world. So doing more community-based events and fundraisers. And then we do a lot of stuff for corporate buildings, so we can do some things during the week. And help out in that area. And then a lot of our catering partners and venues that we work with, they're growing as well. So they're opening up new locations, they're opening up new venues. And with our growing team, we're able to do multiple events on the weekend, multiple events on one night, for example.
Because it's not just you.
Right, because it's not just me. And then we have a couple of Spanish speakers. We have a couple of Russian speakers. And then joining different networking groups, which is sort of a way that we know each other as well. So In the Mix has gotten involved with more networking opportunities, kind of just meeting more people in the community and seeing what works for us and what the best avenue is for In the Mix to go.
So 10 years out? What does that look like? I mean, what does Nicole's bartending service empire look like? I
see us growing more, perhaps maybe even expanding outside of the New England area.
Really?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, whatever works.
Sure.
Like you said, we're growing and the demand is getting higher. But just in general, kind of like taking it up to the next level. So, you know, we used to just kind of like show up with a pop-up table and like our beverages, but now we're really trying to be a full-fledged bartending service. So like I said, we do all of the garnishes, all of the different cocktails that you can find at a high-end bar, where when people are drinking them, they really can't believe that, you know, we brought it on site.
Yeah, so besides word of mouth, which is very important, and sort of your online advertising or being found, you know, online, how are you getting referrals? Who is the business coming from? I'd imagine, for example, party planner type people or venue organizers, those types of people. Where does your business generally come from? Yeah, so our caterers that we work really well with, and the venues that we work really well with, we see a lot of our traffic coming in directly from them. They'll get the call first. You know, you need to book where you're going to be, and a lot of people are really, and the food is extremely important to them. So just our reputation has preceded us, and you know, they've been putting our name out there. And I would say a lot of our business comes from people who have been at an event that we have bartended at before. So just having experienced what you do, and I'm sure you must have a stack of business cards that you take to every meeting, to every event. Yes, exactly. I mean, people are always interested. Do you work for this place, or how did they hear about you? And it really just, you know, spreads from there. And we were talking about the Spanish community earlier. So there's a couple of churches that we work with where they have a really big Spanish involvement. And so when they're looking for a bartending service that's licensed and can speak another language, they're the first person that
we're the first person that they call.
Fantastic. What's the biggest event that you've done to date? Can you think?
Oh, well, actually, the biggest event we did to date was the opening day at the Nashua Center for the Arts.
No kidding.
Yes. So we were able to help them to make sure that their opening day was as grand as it could be. So we had 5 different bars set up. I think the capacity over there is like, 700? I don't know if it was like a full house.
Yeah, it's 700 to 800.
Yeah.
Depends on how they set the place up.
We had the VIP, the ribbon cutting ceremony. We had a special bar just for the singers and actors that came in. We had another bar for the donors. And then we also ran both the concession stands to help them get themselves on their feet as their first night.
That's amazing. That's a huge event in a pretty big venue. So congratulations. That's fantastic.
Thank you. We were very blessed to be a part of that. And it was awesome to see all of, I know so many people from working in the community for so many years. So having them come in and see us behind the bar was really fun.
Nicole, how did you get into this business?
So the owner, the founder, the original owner and founder of In the Mix was Dan Haggerty. And he's been a friend of mine for a long time. We bartended together back in the day. And so as soon as I found out he was doing mobile bartending, I was like, let me get on board.
So you worked for him?
Yes, and I started out as a bartender. And then after a few years, I started doing some administrative work for him and managing events. And when he was ready to move on to bigger and better things, I decided to buy the business.
And how long ago was that now?
3 years ago.
3 years. So right in the middle of the thick of the pandemic is when you jumped right in.
Why not?
Why not? Exactly. Makes sense to me. Well, my wife and I opened our prior business about 2 months before the beginning of the Great Recession. And I always thought, well, if I knew this was coming, would I have done that? And the truth is we probably still would have, and we did just fine. You kind of make your own luck with some of these things.
Right. Everything happens for a reason, right? It's about the effort and the positivity and the love that you put into it. That's what makes it grow.
So if you're not bartending and you're not volunteering somewhere, what do you do for fun in the 5 minutes that you have a week that's left over?
I love being outdoors.
Okay.
I love nature.
You're in the right part of the country.
That's right. Mines Falls is a beautiful place here in Nashua. I'm so lucky to have that around.
Yeah.
Family oriented. I spend a lot of time with my nephew. We were able to hit up old home days this past weekend. So that was really fun.
In Hudson?
In Hudson, yeah.
Nice.
That's
I've never been to the old home days over there.
No way.
Yeah. I every year say I got to go, and I've never been. How was it?
It was so much fun.
Yeah, the weather was beautiful.
It was. We actually went, it was supposed to rain, and we kept on checking the weather, and we were like, let's just go anyway. We'll bring our raincoats, and we ended up lucking out.
Yeah, that's fantastic. How do people learn more? If they loved what they heard, they want to maybe book their next event with you, Nicole, how do they learn more?
You can visit our website. It's inthemixbev.com.
Okay.
There's a lot of information you can find on there, and you can fill out a form submission if you want to learn more information. Tell us a little bit about a party that you're having, and we can get in contact and really plan that out. And then we also have an Instagram account. It's inthemixnh, and that's a really good place to see some pictures of things that we've done.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And any other socials, or just Instagram and then your website?
Instagram and website is the best. We do have a Facebook, but I don't use it as much. I probably should use it more.
I remember, I think your Facebook got hacked somehow.
My Facebook got hacked. Yeah, so I'm a little hesitant to use that as my main form of contact now.
Knock on wood, I think I might be the only person who I know whose Facebook hasn't been hacked yet.
Amazing.
And I've been on for, 12, 13 years now. And I think it's probably just because any hacker that finds my Facebook page is like, ugh, this guy's boring. I don't care. Because it just hasn't even, and I'm always terrified. Because what happens? Then it takes down my United Way Facebook page, and our Community Connections Facebook page, and my radio show Facebook page. Yeah, absolutely. It is really, because it's all connected to your personal Facebook account.
So since then, I have set up two-factor identification on everything, but with Facebook being, I think I started it in high school. So I thought that it was set up, and it wasn't. So to anybody who I'm not friends with anymore, it's not because I don't like you. Please find me again on Facebook.
Well, it's funny. My daughter actually taught me how to use Facebook when she was in high school. So it's been a while.
We learn a lot from the youngins these days.
We do, and I was just so embarrassed. At the time, I remember distinctly saying, Casey, I know I should be on Facebook. This seems like something I should be doing, but can you please show me? And she was just switching over from MySpace to Facebook, and she's like, yeah, Dad, I can show you that.
Yes, I remember.
So now
I
totally
remember
MySpace.
Right? No, well, I coached at a high school for several years, and so I used the girls a lot. They helped me with my electronic issues. So I try to keep up on the technology, but also that helps hiring the young bartenders. So our bartenders range in age and experience. So we have a variety for everything.
That's fantastic. Nicole, congratulations on your continued success and growth. I am so impressed with you and what you're doing in your business. It's obviously a passion for you and a labor of love, and you're giving back to the community, and what more could a person ask for, honestly? It's great.
Thank you so much. I'm blessed. I love meeting new people. I love seeing smiling faces and make everybody's special day smooth.
That's fantastic. Look, I brought you a gift. It's a baseball hat. It's a girl's baseball hat. Look, it has this thing in the back that you can I
can put my ponytail through it.
Exactly, right? I saw that.
I love it.
This is great. I got to give that to Nicole.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
I appreciate that.
You're welcome. And thank you for coming on the show, talking about In the Mix, supporting United Way, supporting our community, and just being you. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. I look forward to karaoke.
I look forward to it as well. So look, you've been listening to the United Way, Living United with Nashua Business show. We will be back in a couple of weeks with our next episode. I do not know who I'll be talking with, but it's going to be great because we're just blessed in this community with fantastic people. Until that time, please remember, be kind to each other, because great things, they really do happen when we live united.